You ever have one of those days that just knock the wind out of you? Because I swear, when that little girl with the pigtails marched up to my counter, clutching a $5 bill and asked, "Sir, want to buy a daddy?" I just stood there frozen, heart hammering in my chest, the noise in the store dropping to nothing. For a split second, I thought maybe I'd misheard her, maybe she wanted a daddy doll or something, you know? But she said it again, with that same steady, stubborn voice, and I realized this was real, right here in the middle of my flagship toy store. Her name was Lily. She couldn't have been more than 6, her shoes scuffed and too small, eyes bright, but sad in a way kids shouldn't be. And man, did the air feel heavy as she explained that her mom went to heaven, her older sister Jade worked all the time, and she'd saved up every penny hoping she could finally buy what she saw every other kid at the park had: a dad to push her on the swings, to carry her on his shoulders, to read her bedtime stories. You know what I mean? I almost couldn't breathe. I crouched down to her level, voice barely a whisper, and tried to explain, "Honey, we only sell toys here. We don't sell people." But she just pressed that money to the counter, hopeful. In that moment, it hit me harder than any business loss or rough quarter ever could. Lily started telling me about her sister, Jade, how she was the best in the world, worked 3 jobs, left before Lily woke up, came home long after dinner, and sometimes Lily would hear her crying at night. I'd seen a lot in this city, but nothing like that small, desperate hope. It made me think about when I was 7 and my own dad died, how I'd have traded every toy in that store just to have him back. I remembered asking my mom impossible questions, feeling that empty spot every time I saw other kids with their dads. I tried to tell Lily that a daddy isn't something you can buy. It's something that happens when people love each other. Sometimes folks get married, or sometimes they just stick together because they care. She just asked if Jade married someone. Would that mean she got a daddy too? And I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. Around us, grown adults were sniffling into tissues, trying not to fall apart. Right then, the store's front door crashed open, and in rushed a young woman, beautiful, hair falling out of her ponytail, her face wild with panic still in her diner uniform. "Lily, Lily, where are you?" she called. Lily waved, proud as ever. "I'm here. I'm buying us a daddy." Jade's face ran through a dozen emotions at once: shock, heartbreak, embarrassment before she just sank to her knees, pulling Lily into her arms. I stepped back, feeling like I'd stumbled into something raw and private, but I couldn't look away. Jade's strength was obvious, and so was her exhaustion. They started to leave, but something in me snapped. I just couldn't let them walk out of my life. "Wait," I called out. You ever make a choice in 1 second that you know is going to change everything? That was me, right then and there. Jade's days started at 4:30 a.m. Every morning, rolling quietly out of bed so as not to wake Lily, grabbing her cleaning supplies, catching the bus downtown to scrub offices nobody ever noticed were clean. Then it was off to the diner, her favorite job. She said, even if it paid the least. Folks there treated her like family, knew about Lily, left tips when they could. She'd come home, exhausted, to the tiny apartment she worked so hard to keep. She didn't have time to sit still stocking groceries until late, helping Lily with homework at midnight, worrying over bills, and stretching every dollar. It was always the same: no time, never enough money, and a 6-year-old who just wanted to know why they didn't have the things other kids did: new shoes, vacations, a daddy to take her to the father-daughter dance. Jade would have given anything to say yes, but all she could do was keep moving, keep working, keep hoping. Now here's where things got complicated. I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe, just maybe, I was meant to do more than write checks to charities or expand my empire. I started thinking about Lily and Jade every night. The hurt in that little girl's voice, the way Jade held herself together for her sister. Hell, I've been running from my own loneliness so long, I almost forgot what it felt like to want to be needed, not just useful. So I did something wild for a man in my position. I asked my investigator to look into Jade's life. Not in a creepy way, but because I needed to understand. Well, I saw in those reports her 3 jobs, her debts. Her tenacity broke my heart and made me furious at a world where someone could work so hard and still not get a break. The next day, instead of focusing on profit margins or expansion, I created a new position: Director of Children's Programming. I wanted Jade. Not for pity, not as charity, but because she got it understood what families like hers needed. I showed up at the diner, offered her the job. She didn't trust it at first. Who could blame her? But when I told her my story about my own dad, my own mom struggling after he died, how I'd build a company trying to fix a hurt money couldn't touch, I think she saw I was serious. She took the job. And that, my friend, was when everything changed. She transformed my store-reading nooks, craft areas, Saturday story times for kids whose parents worked weekends. The place buzzed with energy, and for the first time in forever, I saw real happiness, kids who felt seen, parents who felt like they belonged. Lily would come in after school, help set up crafts, do her homework, laugh that big laugh that fills up a whole room. And yeah, I hung around the children's section more than I probably should have, just to catch the joy of it. One Saturday, Lily showed me a drawing for her school's art show. 3 stick figures labeled me, Jade, and Mr. Nathan. My heart just about broke. That kid included me in her family, just like that. No contracts, no tests. I try to be worthy of it. I helped Lily with math, listened to her stories, started showing up to her school events. Families at the playground began to assume Jade and I were a couple. For the first time, Jade didn't correct them right away. She started to believe maybe, just maybe, they belonged. Twist is the board at my company didn't see it that way. They called me in, grilled me about why I was spending so much time at the flagship store, accused me of mixing business with personal life, even said my support for Jade was a liability. There's a power imbalance, they warned. You're risking everything. They weren't wrong, but they weren't right either. You ever feel like you have to choose between what makes sense on paper and what actually matters? That was caught between the company I built and the family I was finally beginning to build for myself. Then life threw us a curveball. Lily collapsed at school, appendicitis, emergency surgery. Jade was a rock through the whole ordeal, but I could see she was falling apart inside. I stayed through the night, bought snacks, did crossword puzzles, held her when she cried. When the hospital bill came 12 grand, Jade didn't have I paid it without asking. Big mistake. She was furious, not grateful. You're not my savior, she said. You took away my agency. Love doesn't mean making decisions for me. I tried to apologize, but the damage was done. She quit her job, returned every cent, and stopped taking my calls. 2 weeks without them felt like years. I finally realized that the help I thought I was giving wasn't what they needed. What they needed was respect, a partner, not a rescuer. So I set up a foundation in my father's name, grants for single-parent families, run by someone who truly understood. I asked Jade to run it, not as an employee, but as a partner, equal salary, equal say, no strings. It wasn't about fixing her life. It was about building something together. She didn't say yes right away, but over time, she saw I'm in it. 6 months later, I watched her in a simple white dress, running the foundation, changing lives, building the community we always dreamed of. Lily thrived, drawing more family pictures, always with the 3 of us, always with hope. When I finally proposed, it wasn't some grand romantic gesture. I just knelt beside the reading nook where it all started, surrounded by the kids and families we'd come to love, and asked her to make our family official. She said yes. The whole store cheered. Lily announced, "I'm getting a daddy," to anyone who'd listen. That wedding, right there in the store, wasn't perfect. Kids spilled punch. The cake was lopsided. Betty from the diner cried so much she had to borrow napkins, but it was ours. Now, every night, I read Lily a bedtime story in our new home. Sometimes I still ask myself if all families get happy endings, or if we just got lucky. But maybe it's not about luck. Maybe it's about choosing each other again and again through all the mess and fear and hope. Maybe the best kind of happiness is the one you build together, one day at a time. So let me ask you, what do you think? Is love about saving people, or is it about showing up, respecting each other, and building something new from the wreckage? Where's the line between helping and fixing? I want to hear what you do, what you think real partnership means. Because I'm still learning every day. Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what it really takes to make a family, and whether anyone can truly buy happiness, or if the best things in life are the ones you give away, piece by piece, heart to heart.